and Shep, where Mondays are for the mind. We're live on every outlet at 6 p.m. Central Time. So hit the follow to the channel, make sure that you're notified, so you can join us every Monday. Chase and Shep is now live.
Chase and Shep, Mondays for the mind. Grow with us as we sit down with new guests all March long.
What up, everybody? I just dropped a hi in all the comments for everybody.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I was like, oh, we really can just be talking during the little intro there to everybody. Like, hey, welcome to everybody that's in the chat. I didn't really think about that.
You learn something new every day.
We just grew a little bit, baby.
We did just grow a little bit. And here to talk with us about learning and growing is our friend, Gela Rediger.
Hello, gentlemen. I'm
what's
good.
Up? I know we're all
basically the same stuff. Yeah, we're all tired.
Yeah, but that's okay. Ride these chill vibes into the week. You know.
I feel that.
Who isn't tired? You
know. Yeah. So you just returned from a week-long trip. How was that?
Yeah. Well, it was incredible. There was a lot of unexpected surprises. We went out there to do a documentary, our next setting up camp for Camp Nostalgic, on a comedic couple called A Couple of Nerds. David has known of them since we've been together. I remember when we first started dating, he was watching this group, but he was also watching this podcast that one of them was doing too. And for years, he's been, keeping an eye on them and has always wanted to collaborate with them. And then all of a sudden, like a little bit before the end of the year, we were like, why don't we try doing a setting up camp on them? Because they have a great story. They've been all over the world doing different things. I don't want to say any of it yet until the doc comes out. But it was incredible watching them work in the flesh, and they bounce off each other so well, and it was so cool to just be a part of that and what they do nowadays. But that was what that whole trip was for. But we figured, I haven't seen much of the world. Like before Dave, I'd been to Wisconsin. Okay, like that was it. So we're like, well, let's make a whole big thing out of it, And something we've wanted to do for years is see the Quick Stop. Right. We just want to go to the Quick Stop and buy a pack of cigarettes. That's it. That's all we've ever wanted to do. And so we were like, well, we're going to be 6 hours away. Why don't we extend the trip and go out there? And like right before the trip, it was awfully ironic because he was like, hey, Kevin's going to be in town on Friday and they're going to be doing the first Fat Man on Batman at the Smod Castle. And I was like, oh, shit, we got to leave Friday morning. Like, we're not going to be able to make it. But whatever. Cool, right? And then like the day before we were leaving, I wake up early and I'm just scrolling, reading the news, and he's like, hey, I'm going to be there Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I'm like, holy shit, like how ironic. Like we had no idea. And I was like, okay, I guess we're going to go see Streets of Fire. And it was really, it was the perfect experience for us because it wasn't a Q&A or a meet and greet or anything. But the movie that we seen was the movie nobody else wanted to see. So there was only like 9 people.
Really?
So it was very much, it was very much a Q&A with Kevin and Mark Bernardin. And his dog is just running around the theater and stuff. But I'm like, that's Shecky. I hear Shecky all the time in the podcast. His dog's still alive, And then, so that was really incredible. And like, we could have gone up and introduced ourselves, but we just don't do that. Like, it was just cool to see him and be a fly on the wall. And like, then we went to the secret stash, and freaking Mike Zapsik was behind the counter. We're like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in Comic Book Man. So it was truly the ultimate experience. Like, and it all landed perfectly. I was like, wow, I don't know what karma this is, but I'm grateful, But it was really cool, and we've seen a lot of the world. You know, we got to see New York City and all this stuff I never thought I would see. So I'm beyond grateful.
Yeah, New York is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you guys got the chance to be around Kevin Smith, because like I know when I had that experience last year, I was like, I wish Dave and Gela could experience this as well, because it was just he's just such a presence, you know.
Yeah. And like I remember being so happy for you. And like again, like the whole goal wasn't to go see him at all. We just,
Mhm.
you know, we just wanted a pack of smokes. And then all this stuff just kind of fell into place. I was like, oh my gosh, this
Yeah.
is cool. And it was perfect. It wasn't like a big event for us because we're not good with those. And it was just I'm petting his dog. I'm like, what is happening right now?
Right.
I was thrilled for you guys.
Yeah, it was so cool. It was it was literally the ending of our trip, the last thing we did, because we had to wake up the next morning at 5 a.m. and drive all the way back from New Jersey to Champaign. So that was the hardest part, but it was still really cool going through mountains and all that. Again, I'd never been on the East Coast, so new to me.
Love it.
The East Coast is pretty dope. I like it. I've been over there a few times, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I seen you guys were up at Niagara Falls. I went to Niagara Falls too. That's a really, really, really cool thing.
Yeah, it was. Oh my gosh, it was really cool because again, we got up really early, and the time we went there, it was freezing. It's just snowing in Buffalo. We're spending spring break and a bunch of snow, and we're like, well, we have to go see it because the Airbnb we were at was like 10 minutes away. I was like, all right, let's go, and there was no one there. Just beautiful snowy weather. I was like, this was worth it. If you go there, the parking isn't expensive. It's you totally got to go. So
sounds like a magical trip.
It was. It really was. Well, and you know, like we're pretty simple. Like all we wanted to do was go to diners and collect maps from rest stops and all that, and see a convenience store. Like that's what we wanted to do.
Did you peep any sunrises?
No, because when we were like, so the Airbnbs I picked, I wanted them all on the water, and for painting reasons, I recorded a video of me painting on my travel easel because we were right by Lake Erie when we were in Ohio, and it was just gray, but it was still a cool opportunity. But the same thing in Buffalo, it was just snowy, and then the only time it was nice was when we were in Jersey, and it was like we were on a legit beach, but we had a bunch of stuff to do. Like, you know, we had the show to catch and all this. We didn't have much time in Jersey, but it was awesome. It was beautiful. And I never had done an Airbnb before. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
They can be cool. They can be cool. They can be a little creepy, I think, at times. I have a friend that he's used a lot of them, and he has ran into some characters at Airbnbs that own them, and he's like, okay, we're gonna go just stay at a hotel, I think, instead. Sometimes you'll have the ones, because I even seen a new one out, I forget what it's called, but a new one where they like guarantee your privacy wherever you go, because a lot of them will be like a duplex type house, and well, the other side's rented out, but I'll just be right over here, you know. And a lot of people like, that's just too close. Like I know the one I stayed at, they had a camera or something on the front porch. Make sure you didn't have like a party or something, because, you know, a lot of people would just, this was in like a city, and a lot of people would just rent them to throw like big parties down in the city. It's like,
that is crazy.
A little weird.
Well, like the third one we stayed at, because we stayed at 3 of them, was part of someone's house, and it was like their basement. But because I think it was specifically because she lived on the beach, she rented it out for people who were going to track in sand and all that anyway. But it was weird, like knowing she was upstairs the whole time. Like, I'm like, huh. Yeah. I mean, we're only going to be here for a little bit, but it wasn't bad, and she was really respectful. But it was maybe because I used to work at a hotel that I've never appreciated how they clean it. So the Airbnb has been nice.
Yeah.
I can vibe with that.
Yeah. But it was great.
I did not. I meant to watch the previous episode that you were on to refresh my memory about our conversation, but I didn't have the time to do so today. But since the last time you were on the show, and we talked a little bit about animation and artwork and stuff like that, I know that you've done a lot of stuff since then. You just did our Shacking Up with Shep a couple Mondays ago. And you're working on a lot of stuff for Camp Nostalgic Season 2. So tell us a little bit about the things in animation right now.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, it's been like 7 months since we last talked. And I know around that time I had talked about my goal was to make the next Stupie and Fran-Fran episode, and in the time frame of like, so the first one took me 3 years, and I wanted this one to go by in 3 months, all because I read some book. And it kind of worked. It was 4 months, so I take that as a win. But yeah, so we released that, and we did. I remember last podcast, I was like, I still want to see Shacking Up with Shep, and by God, it came out. Here it is.
Right,
so
right.
that's growth for all of us, right?
Yeah.
And in a way, and I wish I would have told you this, Chase, but I was too late, and I figured the video was already rendered. You should have given yourself an animation credit too, because you animated my animation. So next time. But
it was
so yeah. Now, what's that? I'm sorry.
I said it was an interesting experience because I'd never done anything like
was
that.
It? Well, and I know it can be tedious because it's like, hey, these are at 15 frames a second, so they're only a second. Have fun,
It's tedious, but it's fun. It can be.
Right, watching it come to life, So yeah, we had Stupie and Fran-Fran 2 come out, and Shep, you're in it. You're Peller.
Hell yeah!
And it turned out exactly how I wanted. I got to tell this story because I fought tooth and nail with Alex, who's our audio and music guy. So the first time we did your voiceovers was at Chase's house, and so David was recording on a camera that had corrupted in the middle of it for some reason, and I was recording the B-roll. So we were really bummed out because it didn't work. So we were like listening to it on the cell phone, and like you did this specific yeehaw that like Alex kept telling us, like, you have to have him redo the voiceovers. But I asked you to do it at Hell of Halloween shoot. And I was like, okay, but I need this one yeehaw. I can't let go of this yeehaw. And so he was like, fine, we could try to keep the yeehaw, but you have to put it at the end of the thank you so it's not noticeable. So that thank you, or the end, the thank you, the end at the end is that yeehaw from the beginning, because I needed it. I needed that. But yeah, I don't know. I had to tell that. I love that so much. I just couldn't let it go because you did it so perfectly.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot. I do that with my music all the time too. It's a lot of that when you get you feel like you stick a good recording and whatnot, and for whatever reason you have to go back and redo it. It's like, I can't capture that magic again. That magic was that moment right then. It's like, I'll try.
Right. I know. I just couldn't let it go. I'm like, no. He did it so good, and I'm sure like you could get close enough because like you have experience with voiceovers and music anyway. But it just sounded so funny the way it was. Right. I'm like, no,
I still like yip and yee like every now and then. just like it's just so much fun.
Oh, it's so fun. It's so silly. That's what it's supposed to be about. So, but Stupie and Fran-Fran 3 is it is in the works. We have the story. We have some people we want to voice act in it. It's just I need a precise script. So Dave is finishing that, and then it's go time. And I'm very excited for that one. I can't say much, but it'll be fun.
Hell yeah.
Basically same thing. And then I'm starting another cartoon, which is going to take much longer because I want it to have a better frame rate than Stupie and Fran-Fran, which is Billy and Bo. Billy and Bo, the Bungalow Boys, are from some of our old Coffee at 8 sketches.
I just showed Shep some of these the other day.
Mm-hmm. Did you? Did you see Slumber Party?
That was
yeah. I did.
That was the one. So yeah, we want a cartoon based off those brothers. Basically, they live in a junkyard, and every day they're going to try to find jobs or some way out of the junkyard, and that's the cartoon. So, but I want to do it more like in the Fleischer style, where I will actually record someone walking and then trace every frame. So of course that will take much longer, but that's something I want to challenge myself on, because Stupie and Fran-Fran is just so simple. But that's what's great about it. It's just simple. It's the same thing every time. You know what you're getting.
I feel you. Yeah, and we really enjoyed the Shacking Up with Shep thing, because we've talked about animation for a long time now. And then when you had us
Yeah.
do voices, and because he did the second one, I did the first Stupie and Fran-Fran. And
Yeah.
like I think both of us just were like, we need to do more of this. And and now we're just like, hey Gela, can you do this? Can you do this? It's like, let's do all
Well,
the
I love
cartoons.
Shacking Up with Shep because one, I love the idea of like talking animation, like whether it be a podcast or as simple as just sitting on a couch answering questions. One, because it's easy.
Mhm.
And two, just because it's unique. You don't see too many people doing that. And like you know, and you know how the editing process is. All you had to do for that was shape the mouth, because you didn't do too much, you
Yeah.
know. You just lifted your arm or poked the phone, and that's it. And then really the
He's just
only
vibing.
and the only consistent animation is the fire just
Yeah.
flipping, you know. So it makes it easy, and I love doing stuff like that, especially compared to walking. Walking is a nightmare.
Yeah, I know when I was editing it, like it was like 10 minutes of animation I had to do in like a day. And by George, I did it. I did it all. I I didn't think I was gonna get through it, but damn it, I did. I powered through.
He got through it.
I remember you telling me you were like it was gonna be like 10 or 15 minutes, and I was like, holy shit. I'm
Yeah.
like,
I didn't
good
know.
luck. I mean,
I didn't know, but I did it. I did it.
you
I got
did, and
done.
it looked really well. Like, and that's the thing, is like it's with animation, like not that I've seen anything, but if you did mess up, like it's hard to tell, you know?
Admittedly,
Like
for me, it was in the back half, because like
what
after animating for that long and then getting down to the nitty gritty, I did start being like, when he opens and closes his mouth, it still looks like
that's
he's
fine,
saying what
right?
he's supposed to say. Like I kind of quit with the specific mouth shapes after a while. I was just like, fuck it, just let him flap his mouth like a South Park character.
It works.
I
And
get
like, I threw in the occasional like O shape, or like I change it up like every now and then to keep up appearances, but it worked
That's
like a
funny.
charm.
I do that with Stoopy and Fran-Fran too, and it's like a sentence, like just a ridiculous sentence that I can't get out. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna put an O mouth there and just move
I
on.
do. It was one of those things, because obviously we didn't have the audio before you animated it,
Yeah,
so we did kind of do it in reverse. But when I was um, editing it after we got Shep's audio, um, there were a lot of moments, like just in Shep's performance, where it's like little animations. I think like if we had known in advance, would have been like kind of like funny to throw in, just because like of his
yeah,
mannerisms, some of the like a lot of the chuckling, especially. Like I did my best every time he chuckled, but like he did it a lot. And I was like, if we had like a little laughter, just a little
yeah.
shrug of the shoulders, I was like, I don't know how to do that.
That's
So,
true.
but
Right?
next
Yeah, you
time.
can make them like bounce a little bit.
Next time, maybe we'll actually have the audio beforehand. So
That'd be cool. That'd
Right,
be
there you
cool.
go.
growth.
Yeah, it takes much longer when you're going based off a script or audio, but it's also more precise that way.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely could.
I feel like then at least you'd have the exact pieces that you're putting together, rather than in this case you just kind of have the pieces
Right.
to fill in whatever it is said. It's
And that's
like,
the thing with Shacking Up with Shep, is like you don't really know what's going to be said until you record it anyway,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Right.
It was a lot of fun.
It was the same for me. I didn't know what I was
Yeah.
going to say until I recorded them. So,
Well, yeah, I
And you heard
appreciate
the
that
questions
too.
and stuff.
Yeah, because I had people call me and leave voicemails, and from there, I sent the voicemails to Shep, and we both had the same idea of like
I
answer
just played
them,
it. Yeah.
like yeah, like don't listen to those until you're ready to answer them. And the first time
Right.
he heard them is when he's answering them on the show. Um, so that is his genuine reaction and
Yeah.
answers to those questions.
Gosh, I love that. I love that though. That's more raw, you know.
Hmm.
There's a lot of them
So
that
that
even then, you go back and watch the episode, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, I could say a little bit more on that, I feel like, or I didn't really even answer that fucking question, but it's like, that's what happens when it's on the fly.
Yeah,
right. You got what you got.
hmm hmm
but
You
yeah, it
got
was a very
the
fun
raw truth.
experience.
Yeah. It was. It was.
I'm looking forward
That's
to
awesome.
whatever comes next with your animation. I've seen
Yeah.
I've seen the little sneaky peeks at season 2 of Saturday Morning, and
Yes.
I'm excited.
And that was another thing, I guess, based off growth here. When we talked last, I had said at the end that if I had a goal, I would do like Fleischer style South Park humor cartoon.
Mhm.
And like without giving too much away, I there's no audio, so there's not really a humor to it. But I am getting to animate in that art style a little bit for season 2. So that's been really cool to reach that goal. And it's definitely more advanced than Stupie and Fran-Fran or anything else that I've done really. So I'm very excited for just those little things to come out. They're small, but they're in
Mhm.
depth, you know. So I'm very excited for that. But it's always a waiting game, you know, because we wait till July. So and there's still so much to be done.
Yeah,
But
something. While I'm thinking about it, obviously I have plenty of your artwork hanging up here. We all do. Shep's got some back there. We've got some on the backdrop here today, um, and I feel like your art style fluctuates like quite a bit. I feel like you really can't pinpoint it necessarily because you can do so many different things. I feel like, I mean, you can
yeah.
paint these beautiful landscapes, and then you can just make these super dark, crazy, creepy drawings and stuff. But when it comes to your animation, um, have you ever considered animation with like something like the like what we have on the backdrop, or like one of those like scarier, like more detailed painting sort of things?
I hope it's one of those things where I'm telling you I want to do it now, and next time I'm on here, I'm doing it. But I don't know because I don't know how to do it yet. I
Yeah.
know how to draw. It's it's so easy to animate something silly and funny
Mhm.
because if you mess it up, um, it's okay. You know, you can
Right.
laugh at it.
Okay.
But I feel like, when I like my animation side, I feel like is more of my comedic side. And then my paintings and my sketches are definitely more personal. Um, and I don't want to half-ass that. I want when that time comes where I can animate my artwork, it looks solid and I know what I'm doing. The closest I've gotten to it was I took one of my landscape paintings and I decided to animate like a dust of like air on top of it, and it was a stormy like beach or lake
Hmm.
painting, and I animated just 120 frames per second worth of wind, and that's the fastest I've ever animated is 120 frames a
Hmm.
second, and I was really excited about that, but I was like, I don't know how to do that like with my horror sketches yet. I
Hmm.
wish I did. Like I don't know how to grasp that knowledge yet, but
Yeah.
I think if I just sat down and had the time to practice it, I would. But a lot of the times when I am sitting at the tablet, it's for Camp Nostalgic. I do
Hmm.
so much for Camp Nostalgic on that tablet that's why I kind of do all that stuff in personal time. You know, it's just I will have like I have off seasons, but because we're coming up to our next season, like it's go time.
Hmm.
Go
But
time.
the answer is I really want to. I really, really want to. That's the short answer, but
Yeah.
I don't know how.
I know I personally think about it quite a bit. Like I'll look at your artwork and I ponder it. I'm like, what can we do with this? I mean, I would love to see something animated like your artwork. Like I know that would be
Yeah,
right up my alley. I would love to see something like that. But
me too, man. Me
hey,
too.
we'll get there. That's what growth's all about.
Right. Yeah, I'll figure it out. I don't know. I haven't figured it out. And that's why like I'm excited. I learned a lot from, Junji and stuff, and I'm excited for the Uzumaki animation to come
Mhm.
out just to study it, to see
Yeah.
how they do it. Because I do, it's funny, like now that I do animate, like I'll be watching cartoons and I'll learn stuff and we'll be sitting on the couch and I'll be like, whoa, look at how they animated that snow. I never thought about that. And David's like, what? So I'm like, I learned something from watching Ren and Stimpy, like,
Mhm.
and I'm
That's
just
how I
like,
feel
it
watching
makes
movies.
sense
Yeah.
now.
You
Yeah.
just start picking up on things. You just start learning things. I know that I was just telling Shep the other day that like with some of our upcoming projects, I kind of intentionally want to put at least like one thing in at least all of them that like require us to figure out how to do it. Like I want to put something in there where it's like, how the hell are we going to do that? And we're going to figure it out as far as like a practical effects standpoint goes. Because it's been one of those things that I always go back to movies like The Evil Dead and Halloween, a lot of the older horror stuff where they had to work with what they had, and make the
Mhm.
practical effects work, and just like little things that like we've never tried, but like I'm sure it'd be really cool, like the reverse effect stuff and just like so many things that I think that we can achieve. Like I watch it and I learn new things all the time just taking it in. And especially with practical effects stuff, like I find myself watching it like, okay, now how do they do that? And how can we do that? Like let's up our effects with everything that we do. But yeah, there
Yeah,
is
I get that.
everybody thinks I just watch movies all the time, but I'm studying is what I'm doing.
I get you. No, I feel that too. And I get what you mean, like by trying to challenge yourself with something new. That's been a big goal of mine this year too. And it's like as simple as stuff like your reveal video, like making the envelope. I was
Hmm.
like, how can I make this envelope? And I would study it and I was like, okay, how can I make this wallpaper on my tablet and everything, print it off and figure out how to do it in my own cheap roots, basically go to the library and print it off, and design it. And I love doing stuff like that. And that's like, with Camp Nostalgic, it doesn't get talked a lot, and it's not something that you notice a lot unless you look at the credits. But I the things I do for Camp Nostalgic, a lot of people just think of the art because that's visual, it's there. But I am the head producer, I'm the CFO. I make all the props. I get all the props. I got 12 20-gallon totes behind me filled with stuff that I manage all the time, okay?
Yeah.
Like it's no joke. And and I'm making fake props. Like last season, if you've seen it, we made the Patricia. I had to make a fake Alexa of our own design, and
Mm.
I love that kind of stuff. It's like a
Yeah.
puzzle, just creating something random. One of my favorites was if you've seen the Christmas episode, we did GI turds, and we had
It's
to make these
definitely my
GI
favorite.
Joe,
And that's
these
kind of like what
GI
I'm
Joe
talking about. As soon as I watched it, the first thing I did was go, "How did you do that? How did you make those?" Like I had to know how you did it.
I'm gonna tell
Play-Doh
Pudgy.
and cosmic brownies.
Pudgy's coming up
You've
there.
said this before, Tyler. You've said this before. I do need to draw you. I think you would be great in a cartoon. I really, really do. Because you got the voice for it
He does.
too.
He's got the voice.
He
Yeah.
would.
The voice.
Definitely have some ideas for you, man. I do need to draw you.
It turned out fantastic. I don't know what that's in reference to, but
I think your envelope, your
yes,
reveal envelope.
yep,
Oh,
it did.
thank you very much.
And we
That
learned
means a
something
lot.
too. We learned how to use the green screen in doing that. So
Yep.
yeah, so very
Yeah,
informative
there you
in
go.
the review.
That's a
Yes,
big ass
Baller.
green screen too, man.
well,
Sort of the biggest ones I've seen.
when it comes to artwork and props, we have a proposition for you. A proposition, hey, for you
Oh,
after the show. We don't want to reveal nothing on the air. We'll talk with you after hours about it. Um, but
okay.
yeah, I'm excited. I do. As far as the growth theme of this evening goes. You know, I love that it's the last time you were on was when we were talking about shacking up with Shep,
I
and
know.
just watching that evolve. You know, we talk all the time about if you if somebody just stumbled on our channel and just started at the beginning and just started going through like all the things they'd notice, all the, you know, I bet even if we went back and rewatched, there's so many things we probably don't even know
I
have
mean,
like paid off over time.
I was just thinking about that the other day, kinda, but I actually just started that today is looking back because it's like, you know what? We can be sharing something on our
Mhm.
Facebook page or something at least every day because if you go back a year, like tomorrow, I shared it today, but the episode I shared of me and you
Oh,
last year was from the 21st. Am I cutting out again?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You came
You're
Yeah.
back.
good.
Yeah,
Um But I got like Wednesday, it's been 2 years since we had like Maurice on the show on
yeah.
Wednesday. So
Mhm.
there is a ton of content that we got. You could pretty much fill at least an hour every day watching something of us from
For
a
sure.
year, 2 years.
Yeah. I was shocked when I did scroll through our channel the other day and just like went to the beginning and just started kind of, I didn't watch everything, but even just to look and see everything we did, how the show has transformed from year to year was a lot of fun. And then that wasn't enough for me. I watched all of my shit and I moved on to you guys. And I went to the Camp Nostalgic YouTube and I went to the very beginning and I started watching everybody's old stuff and then I started watching more of the new stuff and just went on a bender the other day. But I like
Yeah.
rewatching our stuff to learn from us too, you know. And sometimes I watch it to inspire myself. Sometimes if I'm feeling down or like I need that push to get back into the creative groove of making stuff, I'll watch our old stuff and I'll be like, dude, we made this. Get the fuck out there and make some more stuff, you know?
I love that. And I know some people aren't, but like I've been pretty big on New Year's resolutions this year personally. And one of them has been taking notes of everything I do, and like whether it be what I worked on art wise or a workout or just anything, I like to write what I did, even if I, backtrack or I'm not as good that day, so I can compare
Hmm.
everything to the day before or the week before, the month before, and be like, there's progression there. So the days you feel like shit,
Hmm.
you can be like, this is what I need to get back on track. And I think that especially helps with creativity too, because I'll do that, with my own website. I'll go to the bottom of my art pieces and look up, and I'll be like, I'll cringe. I'll be like, oof, man, that's old. But I'm also very proud. I'll be able
Hmm.
to find self pride that way to be like, okay, but I've improved, and that helps.
Sometimes for me, I'll go back to like some of the oldest stuff and be impressed by what we were achieving at that moment. I mean, I'll see things that I'm
Yeah,
like, damn, that wasn't too bad. We did pretty good, you know?
yeah,
Well, even that, or for me with my music, dude, I just look at it like if I got to go back right now, back when me and Tyler and our friend Wes was first starting to get into recording music and doing music and making songs. If I get back to that little Shep and I was like, hey man, here's the 36 albums you're gonna make, bro. That 16-year-old kid would probably be like, you're a fucking superstar, aren't you? You're a mega star. Like you made it huge. It's like, oh no, we still do our
Well, no, I
thing.
didn't say that.
But I mean, it's just
but
the you know the that sort of inspiration thing, and like, how would I feel at that age, knowing what I will accomplish, setting out to do something? That inspiration I would take at that, I would probably made fuck ton of shit.
Right.
right, right. That would have been enough motivation. Yeah, I know. I think about that too. Like if I could go back and talk to little me, one, I wouldn't believe that I would be able to draw or anything, but I still have a hard time believing and trusting that anyway. But it's, with on the video side, I'm doing everything I ever wanted to do when I was a kid. I'm managing props and meeting new people and making new friends and seeing places I've never seen, and just creating the kind of content I want to create truly with the people that I want. And I can't,
Mhm.
there's no money that's worth more than that to me. You know what I mean? Like I could do that for the rest of my days and be happy and not make a cent.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's facts. I mean, even now, like taking everything me and Chase have done and showing us, sitting us down that first day we sat to record a bunch of sleighs up and been like, hold up, but this is what you're about to do in the next couple years. It probably would have blown my mind. I would have been like,
Yeah, it's like we're
what
just
the
here to
fuck?
watch Christmas themed horror movies, man. That's
Yeah,
what
I would have
we're
been
Right,
like,
like
damn.
because like Easter Sunday was like your first like sketch
yeah,
together, right?
yeah,
So like yeah, if you would have think like if you would have known by then that you guys would have made something like Hell of a Halloween, you would have been mind blown, you know, or the people that you've interviewed by now on your
yeah,
podcast.
yeah, that as well. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Just those little storylines in the real life of Chase and Shep that you can find on like the Monday shows and stuff. Of like we might
Right,
say something back then, and then it comes back later in life. It's like, damn, they did it. You know, it's like, I mean, and even before the Shacking Up with Shep, I mean, hell, we've been talking about being a cartoon forever. It's like
Hmm.
we would
Hmm.
love to do a cartoon, and then to be able to be like, hey, we got Shacking Up with Shep coming out. It was just
right,
pretty dope. It was pretty exciting.
Yeah, that
right.
kind of
Yeah, no,
stuff.
I understand.
Yeah, to
Well,
be like,
and it's a little self sense of pride that it's like, because we were always like that too. I think anybody who does videos has either wanted a cartoon, a puppet show, or something that they
mhm,
have to know like someone who can do it, right? Like we all wanted to do something
right.
to that extent, but we don't know those people yet. And it was one of those things like once, and I mentioned this on the last podcast, like all it took for me was to learn how to animate a bouncing ball. Once I learned that, I was like, okay, I kind of understand this onion feature of animation. It'll be complicated, it'll take time, but if I'm patient, which is one thing I feel like I excel at,
Mhm.
um, I can do it. And now I'm learning more and more because of that bouncing ball. And like I think back, I'm like, all I knew how to draw was a bouncing ball. That was it. Now look what I can do. And now I just want to see what's next.
Mhm.
that's what's up. It's a good
Yeah.
way to look at it.
Yeah,
It's the only way you can look at it or you'll give up.
That's true.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of fun, you know.
Yeah.
And being able to learn along the way, you know, even better. I've definitely noticed it's when we are just classic. If you just aren't trying, you're gonna succeed at whatever it is you're trying to do. Once it's just
Yeah.
kind of we're just doing it, we're just doing the work and everything, and at the end of the day, oh, somebody's at my door.
Someone is
Oh,
at your door.
Take over.
This is this is a rarity in the Chase and Shep. I don't think we've ever had a
what's so
door
funny?
interruption. What's up?
Dave and I were joking. We were like, we should like order a pizza and send it to their house because I don't think they've ever had anything like that happen. And then boom, here comes the door.
No, I think we've had like phone calls. I think we've had like things
Oh,
like
okay.
that, but I don't think we've had like a legit like, oh, there's a knock at the door, right? Because I'm right by my front door too. So it's like if someone were to come to my house, I'd just be like,
Like
"What's up?
just
You're on."
send a quartet to the house with like a
Right.
what do you call those?
I unfortunately it was not like a secret guest star. That would have been rad if somebody just showed up.
Yeah,
It's like it's time to
that would
take
have
an
been so
order. Like
cool.
what No, not today. Nope.
So say,
Just telling me that they're postponing my window installation another week. This being the window installation I've been waiting for like 3 years. So what's another week, everybody? All right.
I'm sorry, that sucks.
Let's get this train back on the tracks.
I just let's see where I'm sitting. I just let them right on in. I'd be like, "What's up? You're on Chase and Shep. Welcome."
Give a
Come
little
on
shout out,
in. Yeah.
Chris from UPS.
No, say
Drop your tags.
my luck would be a not so good knock at the door, and I'd probably get like arrested on live
Arrested
stream
on
or
air.
something.
Yeah, you seen it
Yeah.
here
Oh
first,
my god.
folks.
That could bump the numbers. Hey, that could bump the numbers. That could be what we need for a little controversy.
Dude, I've spent like a few hours now watching this dude on YouTube who's a DJ. Like he's got this mobile DJ thing, and he runs around and he DJs and he gets arrested a lot. And I love
Oh yeah,
watching it.
yeah.
Love watching it. His like title is like DJ gets like in police chase with whatever at the mall. It's like I love it. Let's go. and it's
Right.
always satisfying.
Addicting content.
Somebody in the comments was like, "Come for the police chase, stay for the sick beats." You do kind of get wrapped up into it. It's like this is like the best episode of Cops ever.
Right. That's
Nice.
funny. Oh,
Yeah.
right on.
What's some other things that you feel like you want to do that you haven't done growth wise, like growing towards new things?
Well, I know, and I say this is possible because I don't know if it'll actually happen, but I know that there's a chance that maybe I'll be able to work on a comic book coming up. Big if, because it's more in control of someone else. Like I know somebody who has wrote out a comic story and outlined their vision, and I'm like, hey, yo, man, I could trace that and color it for you, you know. Because like I've learned, and the one thing I will say, like since we last talked, that I have not grown on is this book, the kids' book, because
I think you said it'd be
I
done in January in the last time you were here or something like that.
listen. This is part of the learning process because
It's part of the artistic process.
so
as well.
when I started that, I didn't even know how to use the software I was doing.
Mhm.
So everything I've done, like, so the way I draw now, and as you should with animation or digital art, is everything's a layer. So if I draw a picture of a park, the bench is a layer, the trees are a layer, the grass is a layer, the sky is a layer, everything is a layer. As in with that book, what I've done is I didn't do any layers, I just drew a picture.
Okay.
So I can't change it, you know, unless I start completely over. And it's a mix of like, one, I don't have the time right now to completely start over, and two, I hate having to start over, you know what I mean? So
Right.
it's never like I don't want to do it, but I don't have the motivation for it right now. Like I was starting to, like, that was one of my things, one of my resolutions was to do like a different thing every week, to work on something weekly and then change it and come back to it. And I was on like week 2 of January, I was doing that, and I was getting so frustrated with it. Like, and just because of how I had started, it's really my fault in the end, but like all I have to do is start over and find the motivation. But that was the only thing like I haven't progressed on that I had wanted to.
It
You know,
happens. Let the anticipation build. You know.
that's true. Everybody can wonder why Daddy's eyes are red a little longer.
Yeah. They don't need the answer right this moment.
Right. It's coming.
A few more sleepless nights.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I know people are excited for it though, so the anticipation's real. The people are out there; they're jonesing for it. So that'll be an
Give
exciting
me some
day.
time. Give me that mental time. I got to be
Cool.
mentally prepared for it.
Yeah,
I
I
You
feel
really
do.
that
do. I feel that. I mean,
for
yeah,
sure.
because that kind of stuff, you know, I run into that with music all the time, and it kills you right in your tracks when you realize it's like, I can do this, but man, I'm gonna have to restart everything, and it's
Yeah.
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 With that first Stupie and Fran-Fran, there is a little clip of Alex and Dave walking by, just real quick.
Mhm.
And that was the first walking animation I had done. And when I first did it, I don't remember what I did, but I biffed it up so bad that I had to fucking start that over. And because I had to start it over, I shut that program in that dock for 3 months. And I was done because of Alex and Dave. I was like, nope,
So funny.
nope, I'm done with this. Like I don't want to. I can't. It because it's not only are you having to redraw a drawing over, you have to redraw several.
Yeah.
You know, it's annoying, but that's the beauty of animation, I guess.
I get so like caught up in the fact that you can art at all that I try to not let my ambition overwhelm you when I'm just like, hey, I had this idea, you know. I'm constantly just like messaging you about things that I want to see. It's like I can't
No,
draw,
I
so I'm like, what magic can you work to bring this to life?
I think we've communicated very well on what we can do. And like for the most part, like if you need a sample of something, I think you and I have worked well where I can somewhat get you what you need, or
Hmm.
checking up with Shep was so easy. Like that was a 3-day project for me. And it was only 3 days because one day I messed up on the background. I accidentally made it basically identical to a background I had already done. It's colors and everything. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't use this. I got to change it. But I think it worked out because it was more personalized for you guys anyway.
Hmm.
Um, but that was like a 2-day project. So I of course love things like that because it's a breeze. I don't stress out over it. Um, so like for the most part, you throw me easy stuff. I've never had an
It's our
issue. The
bread and
only thing I
butter.
had an issue
You
with,
know?
yeah, it's just the book. It was the book because when I started it, it was like a year ago. It was a year ago, and I was still doing Stupie and Fran-Fran wrong. Around that time, to my standards, wrong. But like now that I know how to use my software much better, I know I could do it.
If
I
it
just
makes
need
you
to.
feel any better, it's weight off of my shoulders just because of the way my brain works and like when I'm bullying myself creatively. Um, Now I feel like there's a little weight lifted to write the second one. I'm not in such a hurry to write the next one. I'm like, fuck it, I'll
There
get
you
to it.
go.
I'll get to it when I get to it.
All right. See,
So
I'm doing it for you. I'm waiting for
I
you, man.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. I need one or two things off my plate, so that works out great. But yeah,
Right, because you guys have a lot coming out this year too.
yeah, we won't get into detail about it, but we've switched some things up. I think we've got a game plan that's going to work out really great in the long run. Give us a really good next 2 years. I feel like on the show.
Right
This
on.
the Monday show being a big focus this year. I think of just continuing to have guests and new conversations and hopefully more Mondays on the move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully more Gela Rediger cartoons here and there. Um,
I hope so.
and, at least two Chase and Shep productions, three Earth 217 productions overall for the year. So, it's still going to be solid. And then we have all the stuff with you guys. And we haven't even gotten into that stuff yet, which we're super excited about. And then we got some exciting news today. I don't actually think we can talk about it, but
Got some
the
exciting
growth
stuff
is
in the
there.
works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exciting stuff. We'll just say we might finally be reaching our Jay and Silent Bob horror movie dreams, slowly but surely. So
That's awesome.
we'll see what happens. We'll see what
We'll see.
happens.
Yeah. I can't wait to see. I have an idea. I know what you're talking about, but I'm
Mhm.
excited.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how it all go down. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of growth behind us, and there's a lot of growth ahead of us because
Yeah.
going back and watching everything and like watching, what we've learned from project to project to project, and like even now, I think of all of the things that we've learned that we haven't even incorporated yet. Like like okay, like we got the
Yeah.
drone, we kind of used it a little bit, but we didn't really. We have a drone. We're not utilizing it at all. We used it for one shot in routine, and that was it.
Right.
The green screen. We never used the green screen, and like I told him, lighting is a big thing for me this year. If we can get our lighting and sound better, I think those two components and coloring. If we could get those three things down, like we're off to the races.
Yeah. That's all you need, really.
But yeah,
We'll see.
I'm excited to see it all. I'm excited. We have a lot of stuff coming for Camp Nostalgic that I think people will enjoy, and I think some of the things I know I again haven't talked to you about yet either, but it's
Mhm.
coming, and I think you guys will enjoy some of these ideas because it's just stuff that we all love. It's all nostalgic to our childhood and all that. So Camp Nostalgic, of course.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited. I'm just excited. I know I don't know if it's been a while for you guys. I don't know if the last thing you guys did was the Monday on the Move stuff, but like I haven't been on a big set with friends
Mhm.
in a bit, and I am ready, and like we're getting our props ready and we're ordering them and they're coming in, and like I'm just so excited. We've got like, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got some wardrobe hanging up here. I'm excited just to see it in action finally.
I think Hell of a Halloween was the last big thing we did because we did Thanksgiving Project after, but it was just the two of us and our friend Corey, and that was
Right.
it. And,
Right.
it wasn't anything like Hell of a Halloween was, where we had all those people, and especially because that
Yeah.
weekend was a back-to-back shoot for our studios. We shot Camp Nostalgic
Yeah.
Thanksgiving the day before we did Halloween, and then it fucked up the rest of my year. Um, I never knew what day it was after that. Um,
I know.
but yeah, like, and then Monday on the Move kind of got us out there a little bit. But what you're saying, I mean, we miss it. We've been talking about it recently that we're ready to get filming, get the gang together, get the cameras out, do our thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It,
But I know we're going to be doing a little something with Randy coming up, so it'll be a little sampler of a set.
awesome,
So I'm excited.
awesome. Always love to see Randy in action.
Yeah.
Of course.
When we watched Slumber Party the other day, I told him this is one of my favorite Randy performances. You know, really enjoy it.
So that
It was
mirror
good.
scene.
Yeah. Why don't you knock or something? It's great. It's great.
Gosh, he's so good. He's
Controversial
just
ending,
naturally
but otherwise a very
funny. Yes.
delightful show.
It's funny. Everybody always says it about the ending because the ending was not supposed to be that. It was
Yeah.
not supposed to be that. It was supposed to be a pizza commercial, and it was such a hard shoot at the time because we crammed all those people into my friend's house in Indiana, and we were there from like morning till 2 in the morning. It was a long day, so we just forgot so much stuff, and we forgot accents and just shoots. We were so exhausted. Obviously we would do that 10 times differently now, but that
Yeah.
is why it ended just so abruptly. Random. We did what we could. We just wanted to see it out there.
Hey, we know all about that.
Yep.
We know
Yes,
all
we
about
do.
the abrupt endings here
Yeah,
and
that's the
things
camp
just being
motto.
And
done.
there's nothing wrong with them. They're
Yeah.
great.
Love rolling with the punches.
Yeah.
Especially,
Sometimes it works.
you read about people who work professionally in film and stuff, and like it never goes away. Like it's just part of the job is just rolling with the punches, and
Yeah.
accepting that whatever you start with might not be what you finish with. So
Right. It's true. It's true.
It is. It very much so is. But I mean, everything's turned out good, though. I mean, it's still good. It's like, well, I mean, yeah, it just ends when it ends, but the rest was really good still.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
it
Yeah.
happens. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Hopefully, hopefully our every time I watch summer camp for us, even before it gets to the ending, like he and I were looking through a little something the other day with summer camp, and I'm like, episode 3 for me is where everything falls apart because like the first 2 episodes are very close to identical to how the original scripts were,
Mhm.
with a few changes, but episode 3 is where everything got thrown out the window because our whole shoot was just like blown to bits for episode 3 and episode 8. Like those are the 2 problem areas I feel like, and they were such crucial episodes,
Right.
that
When I
it
can
kind of
imagine, like,
screwed
sorry.
us. No, I'm done.
Oh, I was just gonna say I can imagine like writing it. Like you have this visual in your head. The story is set in your head a certain way, and then it's just it is like watching an alternate universe lay before
Yeah,
you because you're like,
yeah,
this is not what I pictured at all. But I like it.
yeah. I mean, sometimes you hear, and then like I know, like on a more on a film set with a budget, you may have the opportunity to actually take the time to think about how to fix your story, which we
Right.
obviously did not have. It's like, no, we're like literally shooting these and releasing these at the same time for some reason. And
Yeah.
when you're working in such a small window of time, it's like you just got to figure it out and move on and get it out there.
Right.
So
Because there's just no opportunity to, okay, let's reschedule and meet again. Like, it's either we do something or we do nothing, and at least you did something and
yeah,
it turned out fine.
we're happy with it. We're happy
Yeah.
with it. And one of these days, people will get to see the OG cut. I I hope.
I
It's a
can't
good
wait.
one. It's a good one. I can't wait. Um, all the time travel shenanigans are kind of cast to the side, I feel like. All right.
Right.
With that being said, let's wrap this up.
Let's
One
do
time
it.
for the mind. What do we got?
I had a good
All
one,
right.
but I forget it.
That's a great start.
Let me think for a
Mhm.
second. Let me think for
Same,
a
same.
second on
Mhm.
that. No, because like I had one coming into like being like, all right, I'm gonna say this for my one time for the mind, and now I can't fucking think of what it was.
Okay, I got one. So I heard, maybe this is more advice, I guess. I heard this quote, not a quote, it was an interview with David Bowie, and he was talking about how artists are like someone who is swimming. And when you're swimming, you swim out as far as you can and to where you can still touch the ground, but not enough to where you are not, right? And he says that's the worst place for an artist to be because um, there's so much you can learn when you go out in your own comfort zone, when you scare yourself and you face your fears.
Mhm.
So I guess that's my advice, is to just fight your mental argument with yourself and scare yourself a little. Go out to where you're uncomfortable a little, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. We just did that the
Okay.
other day. We did something that I was like that. I'm
I was
uncomfortable
literally
because
about to use that same example. I was about to say,
this is out of my comfort zone right now, and it turned out to work out. And we were even, like Chase can vouch, I was even overthinking the hell out of it
oh
afterwards.
yeah,
Yeah.
And it turned out great. So yeah,
yeah,
definitely. I
Good.
just go put
remembered.
yourself out there.
I remembered my one time for the mind. I'd like to take a moment to talk to Spotify because I got an email today making me confirm my address for the family plan. And I realized they're on the fucking Netflix train, being like, let's not share user. Stop it. One time for the
Yeah.
mind.
Exactly.
To me,
We
because
broke out here. Leave us alone.
well,
I'm
it's not
sure
just
about
that, but to me, if I got booted off of a family plan, I'm not going to go pay for Spotify Premium on my own. And as a musical artist with my music on Spotify, that means that could be less money coming towards me if other people feel the same way and they get booted off their plans too, son. So it affects us artists personally, because I
Yeah.
just go back to whatever's the most cheapest, and convenient, which on the real it out there like this, but would probably be the YouTube Music because then you can at least stream YouTube and close your phone. And if you can do
Mhm.
that, you can get any fucking song you want, bro. So one time for the mind, Spotify, stop it.
Yeah. Stop.
Damn Spotify. I didn't even know. I don't pay for premium. Uh, I
I
should. They try
well,
to strong arm you into it, but you know. But I guess what I was gonna say is similar to what Gela said. About you do have to face those fears and just kind of uh, you know, fucking Spotify. Uh,
I
so
like how you
yeah,
guys are being
got me
both
thrown off.
motivational, and
Right, a
I'm
little
using
growth
mine
sandwich, if you
for
will.
some talking shit.
Um, um, but yeah, I mean, the only way you're going to learn is if you just do it. You can read about things and all that. I know for me, I'm somebody who learns hands on, and once we actually like experience things, like that's like with the practical effects. Every time we've done something, or like a camera trick or something, and we've done it, whether that be by accident or what have you, like we've learned it. It's now we've acquired the skill. It's there. We can access it at any time.
Plus
Um,
one.
yep. Ding. So you gotta get those skill points up, and the only way to do that is to just grind, get out there, do missions.
That's
Yeah,
right.
there you go, bro.
I'm playing a lot of
Good listening.
Skyrim, so these are your metaphors for the evening.
Go out on a quest and you'll level up.
Great game.
Yeah,
Use one for restoration.
Yeah.
There you go.
there you go.
Y'all had a +1 restoration after sitting with us for the last hour. Congrats.
Well, a pleasure as always. I'm glad to
Yes.
see the growth, and I hope that the next time you're on here, we have even more things to look back on, having grown on. You know,
I hope so too.
and I'm excited to see whatever animations come up next as well. Always
too.
excited to see
Me
the
too.
new stuff. So,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
all right. We'll see y'all later.
All
Happy
right,
Monday.
yeah. Smooches
Peace.
and deuces. Happy first day of spring.
Oh.
All right.